Welcome to another edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline. Thanks for watching the show. We appreciate it. Watch us on Verizon 32, Comcast 7 if it's just your first time. You'll see it on Pittsburgh Sportsline on Facebook and also on YouTube. And we have a great show for you tonight. A lot of great sports. Great day in Pittsburgh, too. And we got a playoff game coming up, the final series game tomorrow. So we'll touch on that. I'm Al Levine, the Talking Machine. We got Chip the Prophet Hayner, Smoking Jim Frazier's here. Little Z, you want to get a little close up there, Chris? We got Chris Satter on the one camera, and we got John Tiger Kiger, who's no longer the intern here, on the other cameras. And there's little Z. He's still in plumbing school, working on that diploma. So for all the fans of Little Z, you have to watch last night's show when we posted up online. And we start our first segment out with What's on Our Mind. I'm going to start with Smoking Jim Frazier. What's on your mind?
Hey, thanks, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. And if you want the green, you got to see Levine.
Whoa, give me that bucket.
What's on my mind is real quickly, and we were talking a little bit before the show. I think that the Duck will leave Pittsburgh on Wednesday, and I'm real proud of the Pittsburgh Pirates. I see no scenario where they can beat St. Louis in Game 5, an experienced team like that. But hey, great season, wonderful season. Enjoyed all the memories, but I put all my black away already. But what's on my mind is the bum Michael Adams of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Al Levine can contest to it that on draft day 2 years ago, I walked in the war room and seen his name up on the board as a possible first-round draft pick, and I took the liberty to put Soft next to his name, and he didn't go in the first round, but they were very happy to get him in the second round. Coach Tomlin announced today that he has been demoted to third string, so that's money, money lost in the Steeler organization through poor draft picks. So Michael, the soft bum Adams, and that's what's on my mind, third teamer.
And I will attest to that. Smoking Jim, thank you. I remember he texted me. He texted me and said, I may not be here for the steak, but he got his steak, and they kept him here, and the rest is history. All right, Chip the Prophet Hayner, what's on your mind? I already know, but go ahead. What's on your mind? What kind of shirt? Get a close-up of his shirt, please.
Here we go.
Get a close-up.
Absolutely. And before we start shoveling into the dirt on top of the 2013 Pirates season, there's a little something that's going to get in the way of that, and that's going to be a victory in St. Louis tomorrow night.
I'm all about it, buddy. I'm with you.
To get a little
Those haters can hate.
As we get into the show, we'll get a little bit in more detail into the factors that'll play into
the bucking segment. We got a bucking segment coming up. All right,
we'll go into more. But what's on my mind is I was a witness to some pretty incredible events here in the last week in the city of Pittsburgh involving the Pittsburgh Pirates. Last Tuesday night was one of the most amazing things I've ever witnessed in my adult life at any sporting event anywhere. It was the very first playoff game played in Pittsburgh in 21 years. It was an elimination game, much like we're going to be playing in tomorrow night. It was, you win and you're in, and you lose and you go home for the winter. And the Pirates came up against one of their old nemesises, the Cincinnati Reds. And I think it was kind of ironic that Cincinnati Reds played the first game at PNC Park. They also played the first playoff game in PNC Park.
Wow.
But the Pirates summarily dismissed them. And Dusty Baker got his pink slip in the process. So, it was a double bonus. But the thing that I found most amazing is we went down to the game early, and the Clemente Bridge was just packed shoulder to shoulder with people, and Federal Street was just packed shoulder to shoulder with people. Everybody had black shirts on, and it was funny because some of the players tweeted out, like Andrew McCutcheon and Neil Walker, had put it out on. They tweeted out that they wanted to make it a blackout, for the game, and everybody down at PNC Park, they set a record for attendance, black shirts, and I've never witnessed anything like this because the emotion and everything that were going. People were high-fiving balls, strikes, foul tips, out. I mean, it was such a carnival atmosphere. And, that was great. Then we went and, we went down to St. Louis, and in the first game, promptly got humiliated with A.J. Burnett pitching that first game. And then Garrett Cole came up big and got us back into the series. And Sunday, there was the same kind of carnival atmosphere. And, I tip my hats to the Pirates organization. Last Tuesday night, they had Doug Drabeck come in, and he was the gentleman that started the last playoff game played in Pittsburgh. He threw out the first pitch. I even got to tip my hat a little bit more to the Pittsburgh Pirates because they had Kevin McClatchy throw out the first pitch on Sunday's game. And I heard some people call into the radio talk shows saying, why would they pick him? He was responsible for 20 years of humiliation. And, some people get the facts a little clouded. He didn't own the Pirates. He didn't, own the Pirates for 20 years. But he did,
He saved them. That's how simple it was. He saved them.
He was a party to about 10 or 12 years of futility, but without Kevin McClatchy, there would be no Pittsburgh Pirates, there would be no PNC Park, and there would be nothing for this city to be in a fever about right now because the Steelers are 0-4, and we know where that's headed. So, the city of Pittsburgh has just been completely amazing the way they've embraced the Pirates, and the Pirates organization has finally delivered on their promise to give us a team that contends. So, my hat's off to everybody involved, and I'm really looking forward to that game tomorrow night.
Hey, thanks, Chip. I appreciate it. I echo a lot of what you say there. I've been a fan for a long time. It's just a pleasure seeing all this great enthusiasm. They even had a young man jumped off the Clemente Bridge. Really? After the one game. He survived. He jumped into the river.
I saw that coming. We're walking across the bridge, and it was just...
He pushed him. Chip pushed him in excitement.
That is a foolish thing, and, young man's lucky he's not dead.
Right. I mean, you can get a little nervous. I don't know how... I'm good with heights, but when you look out there, that water, you can see white caps on it and everything sometimes.
Maybe you can try Niagara Falls next.
They survive once in a while. He might when they win the World Series, brother.
Who knows? They may have emptied out the Shark Tank.
they might. You never know. But what's on my mind, guys, is all the excitement with sports. You have the Penguins playing undefeated. You got Fleury, almost had 2 shutouts. Just playing lights out there. The Penguins are playing great. They didn't miss a beat now, even though they lost again in the series, for the Stanley Cup. The Pirates, Chip already said all that. I'm not going to repeat it, although I agree. It's just a lot of fun to see that. It's excitement, a whole generation that never got to experience a pennant race and then seeing a series play like this, a 5-game series. They never saw anything like it. It's just great. I predicted they'll win like Chip did on Wednesday. How can you not believe? They've been the comeback kids. I don't care if Wainwright's pitching or not. He can be beat. Some of these guys, Barmas has a 300 average against Wainwright. So all the people, not that Smoking Jim's a hater, but the ones who want to see those Bucking Pirates lose, and that's BUCN. I learned with the hashtag, folks. When you see Pittsburgh Sportsline, I put that hashtag. When you click on that, Smoking Jim, you'll see a lot of Bucko pictures. That's what comes up. They started all these new things on social media. We'll have to have a class on that also. And it's a lot of fun out there. We've had a lot of great guests we'll talk about in that next segment with the SIP Sports Bar that we've met on Facebook and other things there. So let's go Bucks. Let's go Penguins tonight. We need a win. And I'm going to round it out with the Steelers. I don't care that Geno Smith come back and won the game last night for the Jets. Smoking Jim will be all about that in our football. Steelers are going to win against the Jets. And that's what's on my mind. And if you want to revisit anything, that's our segment now. Let's revisit.
The one thing I'd like to revisit, and I will give Jim props because on draft day last year, he said that Mike Adams was soft, and Mike Adams is, he's got the revolving door policy as an offensive lineman. Just lets the defensive lineman run right past him. But, I was listening to Ben Roethlisberger on the radio today, and he said, hopefully he'll take this as a motivational tool that, now that he's on the third string, maybe this will give him the kick in the butt that he needs to rise to the next level. And I'm sitting here thinking about myself, no, wait a minute. You're a second-round draft pick in the NFL. You became a starter and you're playing in the NFL, a job which, you know, any one of thousands of young men would love to have. And if that isn't enough motivation, and plus the millions of dollars on top of it, and you need to be benched and have 2 other guys start in front of you to get you motivated, then you really did waste a draft pick on him.
Well, there's no doubt when you have an NFL scout like Smoking Jim, this isn't our promotion for him, but he's predicted these things. He's given a D-, a D the last couple of years because I keep records on that. And I'm always against him because I said 11-5 this year. And to see a guy that's that soft, and Big Ben disappoints me as a leader because he shouldn't even talk about Mike Adams. He actually left the team because when you don't protect your quarterback and you got the worst offensive line, you're not a good teammate. He should just be out. Who cares? I mean, the guy had every chance in the world. So,
who left the team?
No, in my mind, he should be off the team. Because
right.
Mike Adams, he's not playing.
Right.
I mean, seriously.
Right.
What would you do on his if he was your kid on a team, if you were coaching him? He would have sat down early,
Well, you know,
right? He'd get somebody hurt.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that you know, and I know that you know people are a little bit hesitant to call somebody out in the press, but I mean, at what point do you continue to cover for these guys that are just playing atrociously? And, you know, I mean, Ben's got to say, like, oh, look, you know what? You need to start playing a whole lot better or I'm going to get killed. I mean, you know.
Well, here, as much as you may
come on,
not like.
let's be realistic. Everybody can see it, and we're trying to pretend like this guy could be a future All-Pro.
Well, like I've said before, I'm looking for the leaders on the team. Where are the leaders at that do that type of stuff? I don't see it. You might talk about these guys are leaders or Ben's a leader. I'm not seeing it. I really don't.
Anybody that talks about leadership isn't a leader.
Well, exactly. Well, that's the revisitation here. We'll go to Sip Sports Bar. We had a great night last night. Packed the house with guests from everywhere, all walks of life. I don't even know if I can remember them all. The video's not up yet, but we had Marcus Robinson, the owner of the Pittsburgh Bullets, the developmental basketball league. He was there. We had the Lane brothers who invented a score book, wow. Keep Score. It's unbelievable what a book they come up with. When Chip gets to study it, you'll hear more about them. We had Angel Shafino there talking about sports, and she was even a star basketball player herself and played college ball. We found out all kind of things there. So, and then we found out why her son is at Penn Hills now. So we had a little controversy there. But he didn't go to Gateway. I didn't even bring that out. But he is only 10, and he's a great player there. And then we had
working on that letter of intent.
Right. No, he has it drawn up. That's already done. It just needs a signature.
No, he's tuning in to fine print.
They both can move right in with me.
Whoa, you heard it on air, folks. It's a nice family show. We're trying to bring up that football family there in downtown Monroeville. Then we had Little Z was there, and he brought out one of the funniest things. You have to watch his video. He brought out a Smoking Jim Batman that he created. It was a record on BPTV. I mean, I can't even describe how Mr. Potato Head it's dressed up as Batman. So we covered a lot of angles. We also had a wrestling Tom Lettergy. He's known as Trapper Tom. And he was talking about wrestling down at the Lawrenceville Moose is what they do, the KSWA. We're going to have more guest, appearances by Tom. Just a wealth of information. It was just a great night. And then to top it off, we had all these great guests. Wouldn't you know, champion Rod Salka, who's fighting on Saturday night, go out to Green Tree. Lightning Strikes Green Tree #2. Come on out there. We're going to be announcing the fight. Smoking Jim and myself will be doing that. We'll be filming. Aaron Ward will be out there. So it's going to be a great night. And the prices aren't bad. I think $25 a ticket. Ringside $35. So come on out. It'll be a great night there. And at Sips Bar, Sunday nights, trivia night. I heard a rumor Smoking Jim was at Sips on Sunday night. So I got the scouting report. Monday night is Pittsburgh Sportsline. Come on out. We're getting great crowds. The food's great. Brandy and Kelly are there, although Jillian was filling in today or last night for her. Just a great atmosphere. People want to come back. And we had a lot of repeat ladies come out, the Bill Boyce models and everything, they were showing up. So you'll see a lot of great videos and maybe pictures on Pittsburgh Sportsline and throughout the internet. Smoking Jim gets most of the models going to his site. Then we got Tuesday night is Camp Petey's night, 50 cents a slice. We got to get up there. We got to go after the show or something, go to Sip Sports Bar and get some 50-cent pizza. And then Wednesday night is Smoking Jim's real night. It's ladies' night, dollar drinks, stop on out. 25-cent wings Thursday night, entertainment Friday and Saturday. They got happy hour 4 to 7, free parking. Just a nice place to be. We're glad we're out there and we appreciate it. Thanks to Mark and everybody that has us out there. And thanks to BPTV for letting us spread our wings out. A lot of people are regulars and they watch our show now. So it's helping the community here. We got a lot of great feedback from all over the area, northeast, south, and west. So then another thing, my special segment, we have a launch event for a magazine we're coming out with. It's October 17th, next Thursday. You're all welcome down. Sign up on Facebook, sign up on Eventbrite. Smoking Jim even did that, and a lot of other friends. We got free appetizers for the first 100 people. There's happy hour specials. There's going to be a lot of great guests, interviewers, and just come on down and check us out. We'll all be there. Myself, Chip Hayner, Smoking Jim Frazier, Little Z, and all the cast of characters there. Come on and meet us. It's a free event, and we'll see you next Thursday, 5:30 to 9. Okay, now we got to go to our other segments. Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Hey, thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And I tell you what, I got my inspiration 5 minutes before the show from Chip Hayner, and he was talking about...
No, tell me you're not going to do that.
Javion Clooney from defensive end from South Carolina, and it brought me back in time. The Gateway, and I tell you what, Gateway back in the mid-'80s, 1984 to be exact, they had an outstanding defensive lineman, defensive end named Nate Gay. And Nate Gay was about 6'4", 6'5", about 285 pounds. Tore it up at the Big 33 game, and he signed with a school that I never heard of at the time called Virginia Tech. And he goes down to Virginia Tech, and I see him a week later. He comes back. He's back home like a week later, and he's transferring to Slippery Rock. So I says, "Hey, what happened?" Because all in the paper he was talking about he'd start as a freshman and this, that, and the other thing. And I believed him because I never heard of that school. And he came back. I says, "Hey man, because he's tall. Hey, what happened?" He says, "Virginia Tech has the best bookend defensive ends in all of college football." So I just started laughing. You know me, man. I'm like, yeah, right. Yeah, right. So later on in the year, the University of Pittsburgh that same year had a monster of a offensive tackle by the name of Bill Fralick. And Bill Fralick is still to this day the only offensive lineman I ever seen on TV win offensive player of the game.
Yeah.
He invented the pancakes.
Yes.
Right.
And he won every single individual award that a lineman could win except for one. And he was beat out by this kid from Virginia Tech. And this kid was named Bruce Smith. And Bruce Smith went ahead of him. Bruce went 1 and Fralick went 2 in the draft. And Bruce Smith is now in the Hall of Fame. So Nate Gay was right. I just thought that there was something wrong. Yeah, Virginia Tech.
He was homesick.
He was homesick. He ended up
Took me
doing
a while to figure out where you were going with
Nate had a great career at Slippery Rock, but he was absolutely right. He went down to Virginia Tech.
So he could be a good scout with you?
Yeah, Bruce Smith was truly a beast.
Wow.
And made him transfer.
Well deserving of being a bust in Canton.
Yeah, yes,
No
sir.
question.
Yes,
no
sir.
question about that.
Well, thanks
He
for your
played the game right.
thanks for your fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. There you go, folks. He went back to 1984.
Woo!
That's one of the longest times that he's gone back in his time machine. So I'm glad you got him going there, Chip. That actually helped.
I was a young buck back then.
Yeah, he was 3 years old back then, folks. And he remembers. Unbelievable. Now we'll go to another segment, Chip's Trivia Time.
Oh, thank you, Alan. And, I'm going to go back a little bit further with my
Really?
last trivia one, just a few years before that. But, some useless trivia. Then Alan always gets on me.
No, it's good.
Because my head's a fountain of useless information. But, in the 127 years that the Pirates have been a Major League Baseball team, they've only made the playoffs 16 times, and they've won 5 world titles in that period of time. And just some I was looking up some information regarding Pirate playoffs, and I was looking for how they performed in what do they call this elimination games, and just looking at the statistics here from the surrounding years when the Pirates won world championships.
Right.
Now there was the early '90s, which has been on everybody's mind, but if you look at what the Pirates did. In 3 successive years, they went to the National League Championship game. They lost 1990 to the Cincinnati Reds.
Right.
They lost in 1991 and in 1992 to the Atlanta Braves. But you see how there's 3 years in a row. Back in the early 70s, the Pirates won the World Series in 1971. And they beat the Giants in the NLCS back then. But back then, there was 2 teams in the National League that made the playoffs. 2 teams that made it in the American League. So there was only 1 playoff round before you made it to the World Series. In 1995, Major League Baseball went to the current system of which we're at now. The wild card became a part of it, because there used to be 4 divisions, 2 in each side. So now that we've got the wild card, and they've added the additional wild card. But Pirates won the series in 71. 72, they lost in the National League Championship Series. 1974 and 1975, they lost in those 2 years, too. So actually, the last year that Roberto Clemente played professional baseball, he did make it to the playoffs. Unfortunately, the Pirates lost once again to the hated Reds. The Pirates lost in the playoffs to the Reds in 1975, 1972, and 1990. 1979, we turned the tables on them. That was the year of Pop Stargell, We Are Family. The year, the first year that any 2 major sports teams won a title in the same year, when the Steelers won the Super Bowl and the Pirates won the World Series. Also on this date in 2001.
You're digging deep now.
And in 2001. Ricky Henderson became the 25th man in Major League Baseball history to get his 3,000th hit. Now, Ricky Henderson, everybody remembers him from the Oakland A's. They remember him from the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
He got his 3,000th career baseball hit as a member of the San Diego Padres. And on the day that he got his 3,000th hit, Tony Gwynn took his last last at bat as a major league player and popped out and ended his 20-year career with 3,100 and I believe 28. So that happened on October the 7th, 2001.
Wow.
And then also in 1904, this is way back for you, Jim, and I'm going to have to check
That's 80
this
years before his little thing with the draft. 80 years. A new
record. I just get this man. Jack Chesbro was a starting pitcher for the for New York.
Pitcher. Yeah.
For New York, got his 41st win of the season on this date in 1904.
Really?
Yes, 41st win. We have there isn't a pitcher in the major leagues that pitched in 41 games as a starting pitcher.
Wow.
There are guys that have made 50,
plus,
60 appearances, but they don't pitch more than an inning.
Right.
And then last but not least, and this one goes down in the books, I say it's as incredible a record as Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak. October the 8th, 1956, Don Larson pitched a perfect game in the World Series as the New York Yankees beat the Brooklyn Dodgers. I don't think we're ever going to see that happen again, even though it is possible it could. But
I'll tell you what, that Waka, we could have had it there. If the kid's unbelievable. But I don't mean to interrupt your trivia time.
No, but that was my last one, and I think that's an event of some significance.
Yeah, it is.
It's only happened once in Major League history, and will it ever happen again?
There's trivia time for you.
But one revisit to his.
You can revisit trivia time.
Al Oliver told me on Wednesday that the '72 team was better than the 71 team.
And I've heard that before.
Yeah.
I've heard that before.
And I found out why they called LC Greenwood Hollywood Bags, and you probably found out by now.
Tell us on air so it's official.
Eddie Jeffries, longtime friend.
Yeah.
And Eddie Jeffries said he used to always carry bags over his shoulders.
Okay.
And so they used to be, hey, where you going with those bags? He says, I'm going to Hollywood. So they started calling him Hollywood Bags.
And he was just buried this
Laid
week
the
then.
laid the
Yes.
rest of
Yesterday,
Sunday.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I believe.
Was it yesterday?
Yeah, and his smoking Jim told us he made it to Canton,
He made it to Canton.
his hometown in Mississippi.
Yeah, so check out my blog with Jody this week. It's going to be a
Well, tell us where we get a hold of that.
at Slick Sports Guy.
Slick Move guy.
Slick
I'll help
Move
him.
Guy.
I'm his PR guy,
Slick
folks.
Move Guy.
Slick Move guy. We could go right there. We'll find him.
So it's going to be a tribute to LC Greenwood. Some of the things that he told me that he didn't tell anybody else on the planet. So.
Whoa, what a teaser, folks. We usually don't tease you that much. That's awesome, Smoking Jim. I'll be putting that up on Facebook.
And here's another man that came to Pittsburgh out of the Deep South, and he ended up coming here playing for the Steelers organization and Chuck Noll, and then ended up making his home here, and you saw that so much with the athletes from the Steelers through all the decades that Chuck Noll was the coach. And even now, Jason Gilden is his assistant football coach up in Seneca Valley.
Yeah.
So
they're doing good too.
Yeah,
they're doing good.
They're doing really, really well.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, they draft quality people, and they
did,
and they stay. Well, they need some help. Yeah, there's no question.
Maybe
about
I can
that.
get a lunch out of Jason Gilden like I'm getting a lunch out of Glenn Anderson.
Well, hey, since we're going to Steelers, we might as well start into the Steelers right now, Smoking Jim. And Chip, with the Steelers there, I hope the 2 weeks they've used, Levi Brown, I don't know if he's the solution there, especially since he hasn't really done that well coming out of Penn State.
Well,
he was only ranked a little bit ahead of, one of our guys here that's sitting down, so who knows?
What about the genius? He cut him loose.
Yeah, with Genius cut you loose. I call him downtown Levi Brown because he's the slowest man around. 5.4, 240. He's already given up 3.5 sacks in one game.
Oh, I was going to say he's only given up 3.5 sacks. He hasn't played a game yet.
Well, that could be in the first quarter, buddy. He might set the record here. But I'm glad that Steeler West is helping us out.
Yeah. Think
about it. They're cast off.
They already gave us William Gay this year. Now they're
and
giving
look
us
how that's
Levi,
worked out.
They've given us Levi Brown. So, Arians know what he's doing.
Did you hear who was it? Will Allen got cut by the Cowboys today?
No, I did not hear that.
Yes, I heard that on the radio on the way over.
Breaking news.
What, they're going to blame him for Peyton Manning's
18 touchdowns?
And to speak to what he's talking about, the Cowboys on Sunday, Tony Romo was at his choking best on Sunday.
Hold it, 506 yards.
Had his best game as a pro and still threw the game-losing interception in the waning seconds of the game. But the point about this game that just kind of, I don't even like watching football like this because this is the way college has been. What's the final score of the game? 51-48?
Yeah.
That, to me, is not football because football has always been about defense, about hitting, about 3 yards in a cloud of dust. But these games, you look into college games, you've got basketball scores for football games, and it's just not the kind of football I enjoy watching. And I think with all these rule changes with the NFL, I think they're heading in the wrong direction, and I'm not a big fan of it.
Well, they have to because of all the lawsuits and everything. They've changed the game. The whole complexion of the game has changed. Look at the lawsuit. Now there's a show tonight on a show called Frontline, and guess what they're talking about? Head injuries. Why would you come out with a show and the little teaser on that at 9 o'clock, go find Frontline, whatever channel it's on, but they're talking about how the NFL knew about all these head injuries for all these years and actually, hid that. That's the problem with what happened. So now they come clean with a great deal. You guys talk about your anti-union and everything else. The union agreed to this deal. I think it's terrible. It took the NFL football teams off the hook. And listen to this, they're actually going to potentially make money on the deal that they settled for, the 20 or 30 million they pay, because it's over 20 years or whatever.
And the thing about this is
terrible.
Is that it's really ironic that after they agreed to a settlement. Now all of a sudden these articles are coming about how the NFL knew about the dangers of this and were suppressing the information. Were they also suppressing the articles into this? You know, because I'm telling you
this is part of what I said about negotiating.
Something wrong in Denmark.
No, well, it was real easy. You could see how they posture. If you read between the lines a little bit, when somebody's guilty, they're lying. And when we know they're lying, you got to just fess up to it. They did not. And this is what happens. And sure, the players know that they're going to get injured. Look at how guys were on steroids. I listened to Jim O'Brien when he come here and spoke at the speaker series. If you can watch that video again, he even mentions how it's not a hidden fact that the Steelers were on steroids in the 70s. He addresses that in some of the books he's written and talked about. And he goes, look at how many Steelers, more than any team in the NFL, died in their 50s or younger. If you look at the records, and this is what I get into trouble because I would say it's obvious. Those vitamins they were taking, you don't have your sleeves up like that and cut shirts all the time. But look at the results. You know, when the facts are out there, and sure, they suppressed a lot of it, but here's Jim O'Brien, a well-respected author of 22 sports books. It's just unreal. And he says, I don't dodge those questions. Yes, they were on steroids. He said it on the video here in Bethel Park.
And you know, and that was the way things were back then, you know, because, you know, they didn't know what they were getting into. But
and it wasn't illegal here. It wasn't illegal anywhere, just in the U.S.
The thing that I find most disturbing about all these lawsuits is that, you know that if you step in front of a speeding car and you're going to get hit, and there's a real good chance you're going to be crippled or die, but yet you're going to go ahead and jump in front of a speeding car and then sue the driver for hitting you. You know, these guys know that they are assuming risk when they go into the NFL. I mean, it's basically like they're making a contract with the devil. You know, and sooner or later the piper's got to be paid, and you pay with it physically, mentally. That's the tax you get. But you know, here's what your reward is: you get to drive around in the nicest cars, eat at the nicest restaurants, live in the biggest house. So you know, it's a trade-off. You know, and so how can, after they accept the bounty, you say, okay, now wait a minute, now I'm a vegetable, and it's your fault when you chose to do it.
Well, usually it's the family, because the person in that type of shape can't even take care of themselves. But think about it. For anybody out there that's in their 20s, you think you're invincible. Maybe some of you still think, you know, in your 30s you are. So there's a whole different mentality on that. You're indestructible. And then they give you all these other incentives, money-wise, health-wise. You'll take those risks. And it's a calculated risk. And most people aren't thinking 30 years down the road what's going to happen to them.
No, they don't.
Look at Mike Webster, one of the greatest ever in history. What a sad story that is.
Yeah,
and he needed help, and they shunned him on a lot of that help too.
And because his was the first case ever diagnosed, out of the settlement that the NFL is going to get, he's not entitled. His family's entitled to none of the money.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And that's really the tragic thing of the whole bit, because, you know, I mean, nothing they could do is going to bring him back. But you know, he did leave a wife and family. You know?
No, it's a shame, but that's part of sports today. We ran off the reservation, folks. If you want to call in and reel us back in, 412-831-3304.
Not the reservation. You bringing up the Redskins again?
No, I didn't mention that.
Okay.
How do you know about Redskins? Is that a team in Washington? Who was saying they should change the name? I don't know what's going on here. What's the name of Bethel Park's team here? I don't know. People might get crazy about any name. We got to change everything. Why don't we just say it's a blue team, green team, purple team? All right? A team.
To get back to the Steelers, you know, our next opponent played last night. And
good, a short week.
Good, a short week. But I'll tell you what, you know, the Steelers are going to have their hands full with the New York Jets. You know, I thought the New York Jets were going to, by this time of the year, that you know, Rex Ryan would be, doing his exit interview, but it looks like he's going to keep his job. Geno Smith, much to my surprise, has actually played a decent game as a quarterback last night. But you know, one of the funny things is about the Steelers and about the NFL season this year. You look at the Houston Texans. Everybody said they were the best team in the AFC last year, and they picked them to go Super Bowl. And they expect them to repeat this year. They're 2-3. Look at the Atlanta Falcons. Went to the NFC Championship game last year. They're 1-4. Look at the New York Giants. They're 0-5, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are 0-4.
Good point.
You know, I was thinking about this a minute. You look at what the Indianapolis Colts did 2 years ago, and it was because of an unfortunate injury to Peyton Manning, but they tanked it for a year. Now they're set up to win for a lot of years moving forward because they took Andrew Luck, which made Peyton Manning expendable because they couldn't afford to pay both of them.
Sure.
But, you know, teams that are rising this year and are making a splash were teams that look at the Kansas City Chiefs, 2-14 last year. Mm-hmm. They're 5-0. You know, the way the NFL
Who's the coach there at Kansas City? He got run out of Philadelphia, right? They ran him out of town.
Yes,
can't coach anywhere.
Well, he had the coach killer, Mike Vick, help him.
Hold it. I don't hear
him
it.
out the door.
Hold it. You misspoke. That's convict.
I call him Coach Killer.
Nah, he's convict there. I mentioned that when I went to Jersey. Happy belated birthday to my sister Hope. I talked to her. She said hi to Chip. She said hi to Smoking Jim. It was October 1st.
Keep Hope alive.
She said, tell the guys I said hello, and she's having a good life down there in Jersey.
Good.
So she's enjoying the weather and the beach and all the weather there. But she said she misses our show. I keep sending it online. She's not watching it. She enjoyed watching us live. So what can you do there? But yeah, as far as Geno Smith, I knew he was a good quarterback. I just knew that the offense that he had, he couldn't overcome the lack of defense that WVU had. That was part of the problem. And can you imagine when you're throwing 3 and 4 touchdown passes and then you're behind? You might get an attitude problem, especially Chip. You know how you are and you're determined in your way. Imagine you're having a 300, 400-yard game and you're losing the game.
And you know
what would happen to you?
And you know what? That's ironic that you bring that up because the same disease is afflicting the West Virginia University this year. They got drubbed by the Baylor Bears this past weekend, and I'm just wondering that genius offensive mind on there, Dana Holgerson, when's he getting his pink slip?
Right.
You know,
another year of this, they put up.
I don't know if they're going to put up with that. I mean, he's got a horrible team. You know, last year he had some talent, Tavon Austin, he had Geno Smith. You know, but what's he got this year? I mean, you know, apparently tackling is a lost art in college football.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the NFL.
Yeah.
Well, since we're talking football, I want to give a shout out to Tyler Boyd. He was the Iron Man of the week in the Virginia game. You know, had a heck of a game there, and Devin Street's having a nice time. I forget where he's from, Smoking Jim. I didn't mention that, but that's the Pitt freshman who's not playing like a freshman. You got to give congrats to those guys. You know, having a 2-1 record, that's not bad for Pitt. Is a 3-1. I missed the game.
Wow.
ACC. You said they were soft in football, Smoking Jim.
Wow. Wait a minute. Yeah, what are they? 3-1. Wow.
Well, they're not so soft because I got to tell you what. There's a couple of marquee teams playing in the ACC this year. Take a look at the Clemson Tigers and the Florida State
Florida
Seminoles.
State especially.
You know, those are two teams that are going to give. They're going to make some noise.
I like that quarterback for Florida State too.
Yeah, he's doing an amazing job.
Oh yeah, there's definitely. Let's see what else we got to cover. We didn't bring up Bucko talk.
That's right.
It's Bucko time. Hashmark Buckin Pirates.
Well,
BUCN.
Well, let me ask you guys this before you get into Bucko talk.
Okay.
The Pittsburgher is the Pirates, right?
Mm-hmm.
And why are they also called the Buccos?
Well, because
Buccaneers.
Because the Pirates also referred to as a Buccaneer.
Okay.
Okay.
And I just found out what the raising a Jolly Rogers really meant. I didn't know that until.
That's like the colors. That's like gang colors on the street. And that's what you do. You put it on a flag. They did that back in the 300 years ago.
When they would capture a ship, they would raise the Jolly Roger because that was now their ship.
Their ship,
See?
wow.
And they even put different flags on there to make like the French think it was a French ship. And they were like liars and cheats, and they conquered everything.
Scoundrels, just scoundrels.
Yeah, they were scoundrels. Hey, late breaking news.
Yes, sir.
Pens 2-0. They're winning.
Okay.
The Pens are winning.
Flurry,
First period.
Flurry.
Thanks, Aaron Ward. Appreciate
All right,
it.
so, let's get back to the Pirates.
We're getting right into it. We didn't get a chance at
The
Smoking
biggest
Jim.
game in Pittsburgh baseball history in the last 21 years is going to be played tomorrow night, Busch Stadium, St. Louis, Missouri. This is going to be really something special. One of the things that I do have to tip my hat to Clint Hurdle to. He's got his ace, the guy that's meant so much for this organization for the last 2 years, A.J. Burnett. It's his turn to pitch. And he decided to go with Jarrett Cole, the rookie phenom, to start this game. And
That's
this is a deciding game.
Hold
have
it,
to agree
folks.
with him.
I have to have a disclaimer here. Smoking Jim is known to bet, and he's so upset right now because he was counting his money on A.J. Burnett. Because I have a theory: when you let a pitcher in to give up 7 runs, he could do it again. And Smoking Jim was all over that. He had to call his bookie up. I'm changing my bet. But I'm for his bet, and I got it, no kidding around. But that was one of the classiest ways to do it. He gave him some time. They talked to A.J. Burnett. He was not happy about it.
He was not happy about it, and you know what? He's a team player, and he'll do what he has to do. And I would still use A.J. Burnett to start the first game against the Los Angeles Dodgers on Friday. Notice how I am assuming the win here? It's like assuming the sale.
Well, here, I would assume that he starts the second game because I let Frankie Liriano pitch the first game.
Not enough rest.
It doesn't matter.
Not
I put
enough
Frankie
rest.
in there.
Well, no, he would not be on his correct amount of rest.
I don't pitch Burnett.
Because what I would do is I would pitch
Not
Burnett,
till the second.
Liriano, Morton, and then have Cole start the fourth game, and that's the way it should play out. But here, if you look at it, there's absolutely no surprise that the Pirates and the Cardinals are at where they're at right now. The series is tied 2-2. You realize that the Cardinals have outscored the Pirates 14-13 in this series. Mm-hmm. For the season, I believe the Cardinals have outscored the Pirates 87-85.
Really?
Our record against them in the regular season was 10-9.
Wow.
Right.
So you've got two teams. Now St. Louis has been the best hitting team in baseball. They have the highest batting average with runners in scoring position, but yet we still found a way to beat this team. So they're two teams very evenly matched. Adam Wainwright, he was pretty much untouchable in the first game of the series, but he can be roughed up, and he had several bad starts in a row, and the Pirates have put the wood to his fastball more than once this year. So it's really going to be, an exciting game to watch. You've got young players like, Starling Marte. You've got Garrett Cole. Andrew McCutchen is now going to be in a national spotlight, and he's going to show why he deserves to be the MVP this year. Pedro Alvarez is just going crazy this series. This guy's hitting the cover of the ball. I was at the game yesterday, and you could tell from the instant he hit that ball that it was going to land out on the sidewalk.
I watched the game, and I just was looking to see how far it go in the Allegheny.
I wanted to see
there.
how big the splash was when the ball hit the water, but it didn't quite make it.
National TV didn't want to show it. Just so you know, they didn't show where it ended up.
Yeah, 438
I was
feet
watching
away
the
from home
replay.
plate.
Right.
But this has got all the mix, and people say, I think it's so funny that you see the way the Pirates' offense was on Friday and on Sunday. We were hitting the cover off the ball. We ran into a hot pitcher yesterday. This young man named Waka. He pitched a no-hitter for 7 innings, and it wasn't until the bottom of the 8th inning that Pedro Alvarez put the wood to a bat. It was the only hit the young man gave up. And you know what? Sometimes that's going to happen. They say great hitting will beat great pitching, and unless, of course, it doesn't. And sometimes great pitching will beat great hitting. And
well, usually in the playoffs, you want great pitching. That's what they always chant. They want great pitching. And here's the point I make. The Cardinals had one of the best RISPs. They drove in more runs, drove the players in. They only stole 25 bases all of last year.
Really?
So just imagine that. They hit a single, and somebody's driving them in. Alan Craig got hurt. His average when runners were on base was like 538.
Yeah,
it was just
it's
out
off
of
the
control.
charts. It's off
and
the
what was
charts.
also interesting is they were on such a cold streak with driving runners in. They were like 0 for 30 or something with driving runners in. So they were lucky to win what they did. And our guys were a lot different. Like McCutchen, they're talking about how McCutchen's not driving any runners in. You only have 1 hit out of 33 at-bats with the first 2 guys between Marte and Walker. Walker's in a terrible slump, and he's coming out of it on Wednesday. Now, McCutchen was batting over 500. Just unbelievable. If anybody was on base, think about how many runs he'd be leading the series in runs batted in.
Wow.
And these are some of the things that slip by because people want to talk bad about McCutchen that he doesn't produce. You're batting over 500 in a series. That's unreal.
McCutchen,
so I mean, there's a lot of great things out there.
And
the reason why I think they'll win. Smoke it, Jim.
You know,
They're in it to win it.
The reason why the Cardinals have not been producing runs, and the Cardinals' offense begins and ends with Matt Carpenter, their starting second baseman. He leads off their lineup. He also led the major leagues in doubles this year.
Really?
And that's the one thing that the Cardinals did, is they were not a home run hitting team. The Pirates have hit significantly more home runs than they have head-to-head against them and as a team over the course of the season. The Cardinals don't use home runs to win baseball games. Singles and doubles. They
And
get
timely
guys on
hitting.
that.
Small ball.
That's pretty
In a
much
sense,
what they do.
yeah.
In a sense, yeah. But they've got a young pitching staff the same as the Pirates do. This young man yesterday pitched. He's 22 years old. He's got nothing but upside to him, and
Most of their young guys throw 98, 99, 100. Their guys. Look at our guys. Yesterday were throwing 98 at the end.
Right, and you know what?
So-
We've got an entire bullpen full of guys that do the exact same thing. And one of the things that I thought was that really impressed me, and after Jason Grilli came back from his injury, he'd lost some velocity,
Yeah.
some pop on his
Mile or 2
fastball.
miles
Well,
per hour.
last Friday, okay, when Jason Grilli was shutting out everybody, best closer in baseball, his fastball was hitting 94, 95 miles an hour. The very first time he started throwing 94, 95 mile an hour fastballs was Friday when we were closing out that game in St. Louis. So
Yeah.
his velocity is now back, which bodes well for the Pirates because, all we need to do is be ahead by 1 run going into the 9th inning, and it's grilled cheese time.
Like I've been saying before since we got in the playoffs, just revert back to the April to August and how they were. We go to the World Series. That's how simple it is. Just pitch and hit like that. It's timely hitting.
What was the score of the first game of the series
Doesn't
against St.
matter.
Louis?
Doesn't matter.
9-1, St. Louis.
What was the second game?
7-1.
What's your point?
I'm just
What's your point
I'm
there?
just looking to Wednesday.
Are you?
I was just wondering.
I'll tell you what,
it'll be.
I'm going to be living and dying with every pitch. I mean, and even
I want that on video.
No, I'm going to tell you this. Thursday night when the
see it.
Pirates got their tails waxed,
Yeah.
I sat through that game. I watched every pitch to the last out in the 9th inning. Where everybody else on Facebook, I'm watching the pangs. I'm clicking this off.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what,
I'm not a
everybody
fair
was
weather
at the
fan.
stadium. If you were there, you were hopeful that those comeback kids were coming back again.
Well, one thing I can say about Chip, and I've done the same thing. Most people know I've had season tickets to the Steelers since I was 4 years old, and there's been games where they've gotten beat 50 to
Whatever.
and I'm
45
and
nothing.
I was the only one left in the stadium because what I look for when they're getting blown out, when there's no hope for a victory, I want to see who's still playing hard. And I remember one year, it was Rod Woodson's rookie year, they were getting blown out. Stadium was empty. He made every tackle in the fourth quarter, and that's when I said that's a football player.
That's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
a Hall of Famer right there because he
You
didn't
look for
give up.
heart.
Yeah,
You
I
told
look
me
for
you're a heart
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
See, it's not, I don't measure the quality of an athlete on how they handle success. It's how do they handle adversity is what really shows me what they're really made of. When you get knocked down, how many times you're going to get back up.
Yeah,
And
good
if you
point.
keep getting back up, and then you're a guy, you're one on my team.
Yeah.
Well, I look at that in life too. So I use the same thing, the sports metaphor there. It's easy when times are nice. Everybody's smiling. As soon as it gets a little rough out there,
That's
you
when
find
you-
out the character.
That's where you find out who your friends are.
Or who aren't your friends.
Yeah, they're
Real quick.
They're the first ones.
That's
off
just a
the
little
show.
philosophy lesson out here on life there, folks, if you're watching. So we appreciate it. Hey, Smoking Jim, you want to talk a little boxing right now?
I sure do.
What boxing you want to talk about?
Lightning Rod Soccer. And it's happening this Saturday night. Me and Al Levine, the talking machine, will be on the microphone. BPTV will be in the house. Great fight card. I tell you what, Lightning Rod Soccer is one of the top 15 lightweight fighters on the planet.
135, he said, Smoking Jim.
135 pounds.
He looks strong.
Looks strong, and he's fighting for another belt. And here within the next 2 years, he could be fighting for a world championship on one of those big-time cable networks that, abbreviate their names. But I tell you what, I'm looking forward to it. We're going to be sitting ringside with Buster Douglas. So we'll get a chance to interview Buster Douglas, who claim to fame was when he knocked out Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
He got a heavyweight fighter that's bringing in. But one thing I can say about Rod Salka and his crew, they all love knocking out brothers. So Buster Douglas is bringing in a black heavyweight from Columbus, Ohio. So look for Jason Bergman to maybe knock him out.
Wow, there's a prediction from Smoking Jim. You'll hear it, and we'll try to broadcast the fights as soon as we can when we get all the video back here. So we'll have a lot of action that night. There's no doubt about it. Green Tree, that's a nice venue at their sports complex up there. I've been there a couple times. I know Smoking Jim has. Just a great place for boxing.
You was hanging out there with Michael Moore,
yeah,
former heavyweight champ of the world.
That was last year.
Out of Monessen.
The
Monessen Mauler.
He fought out of the Kronk gym, didn't he?
That's right.
Manuel Stewart's.
Yeah, Manuel Stewart's guy.
Yep, up in Detroit.
Sure, nice guy to talk to. Nice young son. I can't wait to meet
Detroit ain't a small market.
Well,
okay, my fault.
It is now. There aren't many people left in there.
It's not that
the city's hollow. Motor City's gone.
It's a large market. It's just bankrupt.
Yeah, the city did go bankrupt there. So yeah, but his son, Michael Moore's son, picked every fight that night. I don't know if I told you that, Smoking Jim, but he picked every one right because, I kid around.
Is he a boxing ringer like you're a horse ringer?
Wow. We'll go to the track, buddy. He keeps busting my chops on this. Well, I'll give you the records off air, buddy.
Michael Moore's son.
It's no chump change here, buddy.
Michael Moore's son picked every fighter
who
victorious.
Won. Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll write a letter to jail to the former mayor of Detroit and let him know.
Well,
Michael Moore's son.
Yeah, but his son. Yeah, but listen, his son was only, I think, at the time, 7 years old. So he wasn't allowed to bet legally or illegally because I don't think they were doing it. But he did pick him because me and him were going back and forth. We were tied up into the last couple fights.
Wow.
Then he ran away with it. So,
that's great.
Who knows? Red and blue. That's what we'll be looking for.
Penguins.
Hey, and then we're going to go to Penguins, but I did want to give a shout out to Tiger Woods. They won the Presidential Cup. I think it was for the 5th time straight.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so Tiger Woods didn't win the major yet, and I'm poking the Tiger here. He keeps poking me with these things that, whatever, but there's a winner. He won with the USA.
But he was one member of a team. They did not win because of Tiger, because of his teammates.
If he wasn't there, they
pulled
may not
together
have
and they
won.
won. Because, remember, there's an I in Tiger, but not in team.
But there's an I in win.
Right, and he helped with the win. No doubt. Now we're going to talk some Penguin talk.
I like that I in Tiger, but not I in team.
Chris is on camera here. He got a great Penguin shirt. Give a shout out to him. Penguins are winning 2-0 from what I heard.
And I'll tell you what.
1-0. Oh man, I got bad information. Let me check this.
You got to get some breeders.
No, I
You want to use mine?
I could have sworn.
No, you know what?
Here. See, because Chip likes to prove me wrong, so I got him.
No, yeah, see, I don't.
Bet on him. Don't bet on him. I'm telling you.
I don't like to prove Alan wrong. I just like to give Alan a hard time. There's a difference.
But he revels in if he beats me on something. He didn't win.
I'm on a very short streak here, okay? I was on a losing streak here for a while.
It just ended that one.
But anyhow, the Penguins have started out the season.
Hold it. I got an update. Chip, get your cheaters on and read what Aaron Ward in the control room, folks. This is late breaking news.
They retracted the second goal.
Because I knew Aaron couldn't be wrong. Right now, you got to give a little prayer for her health. She contracted this virus or this bug that's running around everybody with sore throats, including the Tiger here. Stay away from the sore-throated people because they're getting everybody sick. All right? Drink green tea. More of it.
Penguins started out the season on a roll. Sidney Crosby scored in every game so far. I don't know who scored the goal for the Penguins. Hey, man, that's all of them. I mean, look at what the Philadelphia Flyers have done. Oh, by the way, Peter Laviolette was handed his pink slip after 3 games into the season. The Flyers are 0-3. They scored 3 goals in 3 games. and Bobby Clark decided to make him go away. And you know, it's kind of a sad day that the guy that they hired to replace him was a goon named Craig Berube, who, you know, if
they like that in Philadelphia. Come on,
any
Chipper.
Penguin fan knows who Craig Berube was because he played for the Flyers for about 12 years, and you know how the Penguin and Flyer games go. But you know, big question mark going into this year was Marc-Andre Fleury. You know, he fell apart last year in the playoffs, and then, you know, just before the season started, Thomas Volkun was had a life-threatening blood clot, and he's out for at least 6 months. So, you know, where does that leave the Penguins? So Dan Bylsma said, you know what, instead of having Marc-Andre play 50 to 60% of the games, he's going to play 70% of the games, and he's responded very well. He's given up less than half a goal a game. He's playing as well as he ever has, and you know, it looks like he's going to have to carry the team. It won't be the first time.
I have no doubt in Fleury. He's an excellent goaltender. He did win a Stanley Cup, so I mean, he does have the talent. Goaltenders are. It's just a strange breed of people.
Were they hypnotizing him before the game? Is that what it was?
I don't know, maybe as a psychologist, a sports psychologist. A lot of them have all these bodyguards. Hey, have 2 or 3 psychologists. How many people out there watching can take a 100-mile projectile coming at them? And that's their job.
Maybe Hines Ward gave him his hyperbaric chamber.
James Harrison had one for rent, I saw, because he doesn't have to play as much in Cincinnati. His is for rent right now, so you can get it. We're running out of time here. I think we're down to 2 minutes. We got a 2-minute warning. 3 minutes. The Tiger gave me 3 minutes. Chris gave me. This time is outrageous. I'm going by mine. I got 5 minutes. Minus 2, it's 3.
7:54.
Yeah, and you got to take 2 off of that. Take 2 off. We're down to the 2-minute warning now, almost.
Wrap them up.
Smoking Jim, let's start wrapping this up.
All right, just real quick, congratulations. I'm real proud of the 23rd ranked team in the country according to Rivals.com. Gateway Gators. They went in and knocked off the 2-time defending state champions, North Allegheny Tigers, and more importantly, I got a lunch.
Explain who you got that lunch from. Say his name again. We got to bring him back.
Our good friend, who's also a friend of Hines Ward, Glenn Anderson.
Shout out to Glenn. I heard the Lamont has special lunch hour now. Go up to Mount Washington, get the view up there, Smoking Jim.
That sounds
Say
good.
hi to some of my friends at the Lamont there. You might get a discount on the meal.
Thank you.
All right, Chip, what do you have to wrap this up here?
Wrap it up, man. It's going to be a big victory. There's going to be dancing in the streets tomorrow. Pirates are going to make it to the National League Championship Series. And, you know, I'm looking forward to being at PNC Park Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday next week. I've got tickets for all 3 games.
Wow, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We might need a fill-in because I think they're going to win. So I believe they're going to win. Let's go Buccos. And just keep watching Pittsburgh Sportsline on Facebook. We'll put all that Bucco stuff up there. And let's go Bucks. Thanks, everybody, for the great feedback and watching our show. We appreciate it. Thanks to Chris Satter here. Thanks to Tiger Kiger. Thanks to Aaron Ward. Devin Shea, I think, come in with his baby boy.
Did he?
Yeah, there's a rumor the baby boy is here, Liam. So we'll be checking out his newborn baby. And thanks to Bethel Park for letting us have this show. We appreciate you in the community here, and anything we can do to help out, we're doing that. It's been a pleasure. Enjoy the show. Go watch those Pens now. Let's go, Buccos. Have a great night, folks.